I think one of the biggest problems affecting modern men right now is exhaustion. Not laziness, not weakness, not lack of ambition, exhaustion. And I don't think people fully understand how widespread it's become. A lot of men today genuinely believe they've become less disciplined. They tell themselves, I used to be more motivated. I used to have more drive. I don't know what happened to me. But when you really look at how most men are living now, poor sleep, constant stimulation, chronic stress, processed food, high pressure, financial anxiety, no real recovery, always connected, always available, always mentally on. It becomes obvious why so many men feel depleted. The modern environment is incredibly demanding psychologically and biologically, and most men never actually recover from it. They just keep adapting to higher levels of exhaustion. That's the part I think is dangerous. Humans adapt to almost anything. So eventually men stop noticing how bad they feel. Low energy becomes normal. Brain fog becomes normal. Poor sleep becomes normal. Waking up exhausted becomes normal. No libido becomes normal. Running purely on caffeine becomes normal. And after enough time, men stop seeing these things as warning signs. They start seeing them as personality traits. I'm just getting older. I'm just busy. This is adulthood. But performance should not collapse this early. Most men in their 30s and 40s should not feel completely disconnected from themselves physically and mentally. And yet a lot of them do. What makes this worse is that modern culture rewards suppression. Men are taught to keep functioning no matter how they feel. So instead of investigating the issue, they normalize it. They push through it, ignore it, delay it. And because the decline happens slowly, it rarely feels urgent enough to address early. That's why so many men wake up one day and suddenly feel like they aged overnight. But almost nothing in health happens overnight. Decline compounds quietly. Stress compounds quietly. Sleep deprivation compounds quietly. Hormonal dysfunction compounds quietly. Weight gain compounds quietly. Hair loss compounds quietly. Burnout compounds quietly. And eventually all those small problems converge at the same time. That's usually when men finally pay attention. But by then they often feel overwhelmed, discouraged, or emotionally disconnected from themselves. I think this is one of the reasons so many men today feel flat emotionally. Not deeply depressed necessarily, just disconnected. Low motivation, low drive, low confidence, low resilience. Like they're surviving instead of performing. And I think a huge percentage of men have simply been under-recovered for years. No nervous system recovery, no real stress management, no consistent sleep, no proactive health maintenance. Just constant output without restoration. That eventually catches up biologically, which is why I think modern men need to start viewing health differently, not as emergency intervention, but as long-term maintenance, because maintenance changes outcomes. The men who usually feel best long-term are not necessarily the most extreme. They're the most consistent. They pay attention earlier. They monitor their health earlier. They recover intentionally. They intervene before problems become severe. That's the philosophy behind AZHM, helping men maintain energy, confidence, performance, recovery, and long-term health earlier, before exhaustion becomes their permanent baseline. Because a lot of men don't need more motivation, they need recovery.